Hello, Star Wars Galaxy of Hero players. This is Andy Shorto, and today I'm going to be talking about this guy here, the Death Trooper, and a possibility of a thought for a new faction, or like mini faction, but is not supported by any leadership roles. And I'll get to that in a second. Or we could do it another way. So, in one of the videos of Mobile Gamer and Arnold Tees, they talked about the possibility of Death Trooper actually working like supporting other specific roles towards Imperial officers like Thrawn and Director Krennic. Because, yeah, it's true, the Death Trooper in the game would be great if he worked also with Thrawn. But at the same time, we gotta take a step back and look at that for a minute. There are multiple different types of Death Troopers, and we can get that in Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. So, yes, we could add the Imperial Officer tag, but it would be a meaningless tag, kind of like the human tag. It would just kind of be meaningless because it would just sit there and not have no leadership support. It would only have just Death Trooper supporting, all that. And I feel like, Death Troopers are meant to guard Imperial officers, that they're assigned to, like Director Krennic, Thrawn. They're also meant to guard high profile targets or objects or whatever. Like in Rebels Season 4, we got Death Troopers guarding a carbonated crystal. Oh, spoilers. Sorry, spoilers if you haven't seen that, but for the most part, yeah, we get multiple Death Troopers. So my idea is to take away from the Imperial Officer tag and introduce multiple different Death Troopers. So the first Death Trooper you see, obviously, is the Death Troopers of Rogue One, and they're all part of Director Krennic's guard, and there's quite a few of them. I think there's like 12, 15, something like that. So yeah, we got that one. And yes, in parentheses, we could also put Krennic's guard, just like it's unique. Here, so the next time we get introduced is when Thrawn brings him in. Of course, if you also look at these Death Troopers versus these ones, there is some aesthetic differences. At least on the looks, like they don't have the pauldron and the shoulder pads. Here would be Thrawn's guard. If you actually look it up on Wiki, it does say, Thrawn's guard. So you could do Death Trooper, in parentheses, Thrawn's guard. Release it, we got another Imperial Trooper added into the game, but we also got a character that would work with Thrawn. Kind of support with Thrawn. And maybe it could even help support, like maybe be a tank for Thrawn that kind of cleanses Imperial troopers or just Empire. Only cleanses Empire, maybe. He's a tank that cleanses Empire when he taunts or something. Something of that nature, but he also works well with Grand Admiral Thrawn's Fracture. I think that would be a really cool, unique combination. So the Rebels get Wigs and Chays. We get, Empire gets, I don't know how to do a Thrawn Death Trooper kind of combination, but Grand Admiral Death Trooper. I don't know. It's so weird. Grand Trooper. There you go. There's the combo, I guess. But yeah, a Death Trooper that supports Grand Admiral Thrawn. And Thrawn needs to be also able to be protected while he's in Fracture, but he also still has that counter ability. So maybe, this Death Trooper could, he's a supportive tank, similar to Kenobi, but not as powerful as Kenobi, but he still kind of supports Empire and Imperial troopers. Like, he's maybe just General Kenobi for only the Empire. Only the Empire. That would make a very viable tank, as well as with... That way we could actually have teams where someone uses the Director Krennic, Thrawn, Death Trooper, and Shore Trooper, and you got yourself a team. People might do that, or they have, separate teams, but I feel like this would be a great opportunity to introduce more Imperial Troopers, more Empire characters, more Dark Side characters, and of course, characters that support, higher placed characters. So here it is, Death Trooper, right there. Then there was another one introduced in Rebels Season 4. They were guarding, it was DT F-16, I believe it was, and she was accompanied by her squad that was guarding a carbonated crystal. So having at least her in, just as a Death Trooper, an Imperial Trooper faction, and that's it, you know. Like, she supports, you know, how Imperial Troopers sport each other, but she's also, you know, so it'd be Death Trooper, and then in parentheses, her Death Trooper tag name. And, you know, this would be another Death Trooper that could be added into the game and maybe actually support, you know, other Death Troopers. You know, so like other Death Troopers in the game get a little extra bonus. Death Trooper Krennic Guard and Death Trooper Thrawn Guard get like a bonus something, but she mainly supports just, you know, she's just an Imperial support character, just giving us another Death Trooper. So, you know, and this is, you know, it's just a way to actually implement a few more Death Troopers into the game. We already got a few different forms of Stormtrooper, Snow Trooper, etc. But, and of course, it would still be great to introduce more Imperial Troopers in the game. And I don't see why not adding a couple of Death Troopers in the game would be viable. Granted, of course, with Thrawn's Guard, I would like to also see Thrawn get the droid he was training with. But for the most part, you know, getting Death Troop... The point of this video is just to get a couple more Death Troopers in the game. Thrawn's Guard and... Death Trooper F-16, I believe it's called. Let's see. But yeah, F-16 is, yeah, so, but yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Do you like the idea of actually adding a couple of Death Troopers in the game to support different officers? And then maybe if they introduce it more in Rebels and in books, that Death Troopers also support characters like Colonel Yularen and, you know, some of those high-ranked officers. It'd be great. Of course, I would still like to see Grand Moff Tarkin in battle with a couple of Death Troopers, like if the project started working its way in after like season 1 and 2, and that's why we get Death Troopers at the end of season 3, and then into 4 that project was being worked in. I don't know. I don't know. I have to research that one, but for the most part, I feel like, you know, yes, there's an idea of having the single Death Trooper support all Imperial officers and then get revived if needed, but I feel like there could still be like a support role and a tank role in Death Trooper line. And of course, this one would be the support role, and then Thrawn's would be the tank role. So yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments below about this, and I do appreciate you guys watching these videos. I like making them. I like getting ideas out there, and then maybe the developers can pick up on this, because having multiple Death Troopers, I don't see a problem with. As long as there's a reason to have multiple Death Troopers instead of one Death Trooper, all the same exact Death Trooper, we can have multiple versions, especially, you know, with multiple looks. So yeah, again, thanks for watching, appreciate it, and have a wonderful day, and a Happy New Year.